my name is Brittany Hughes, and for my business management PowerPoint, I decided to do, for my business law PowerPoint, I just decided to do it on Enron, which is America's one of, if not the biggest business scandal in the United States, in America. And overall, there have been billions of dollars stolen. Thousands of their employees were left unemployed, and of course there have been lots and lots and lots of accusations and charges, and there was even one suicide involved within this fiasco, for lack of better terms. So, how exactly did they start and then lead up to $60 billion business, and then just like that go bankrupt? At first, Enron was an energy supply company that basically was collecting more for natural gas, and then over time they went to trading energy for trading natural gas, to where they even started trading weather cycles and everything like that. And of course, Enron had political connections at the time. It was with the Bush family, with George W. Bush especially. And the CEO of Enron at the time was Kenneth Lay, also known as Kenny Boy to the Bushes. All of this seemed pretty good up until the Valhalla scandal, to where they had two oil traders from Enron go in and gamble in the stock market. There were two people in general that went and did these things, and then once they had the money, they put it into different fake banking accounts. And there were some that had very inappropriate names, and I'm honestly surprised. Like, based upon these names, I think that they made it a little bit too obvious. So one of them ended up being in prison, and with that time being, while these people were still creating these trading, marketing gambles, Kenneth Lay basically just kept saying, please keep making us millions. But then once one of the gamblers was imprisoned, he then turned to one of his famous CEOs, which is Jeffrey Skilling. He basically turned the trading company to a mark-to-market company, to where he turned Enron from a trading company to a stock market, to a company part in the stock market, to where he made it to where to where they had natural gas stocks and in the stock market, to where mark to market is where they record deals the day that they were signed. So therefore, if they had a multi-million-dollar deal, instead of waiting until they got the money, they still put it into their books, which made them look like they made however many, let's just say $5 million that day. And it honestly wouldn't matter whether or not the deal actually pulled through. They still kept it in their books, and that made it to where they looked a lot more expensive than what they actually were, which is why I put on the bottom they were worth a lot more on paper than what they actually were. So when it came to their employees, as the business grew, they rated their employees on a scale from 1 to 5, with number 1 being the best and number 5 being the worst. And if you were a level 5 employee, then you would be fired. And overall, Skilling made this apparent in the business because he believed in the motto of survival in the fittest. And overall, Skilling was into dirt biking, so therefore he took his best employees into dirt biking trips, which also led to one of his employees being injured in a biking accident. Although Skilling said, quote, well, not quote, he said that he likes a wild man. That's the kind of men he wants working with him, to where they're energetic and they're full of action and everything like that. And one of these examples of these wild people is called Lao Pai. He was known as the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. He was this wild man that Skilling was looking for, but after all, he left in 2001. He quit Enron and basically dodged a bullet, for lack of better terms, to where he was able to leave with a lot of money and end up being the second largest landowner in Colorado. But then once he left, things started going down, even more downhill, to where Enron started moving their energy and taking energy from California, to where they would have blackouts. And I want to say this lasted a year. And overall, they lost $30 billion from the blackout. And at the time, the state of California was talking about how there was no real sense in fixing it because it was a federal issue. But at the time, there was nothing really done about it because George W. Bush was in office at the time. So, fast forward, the Enron finally goes bankrupt, and Kenneth Lay is finally charged for fraud, and he was served 45 years in prison, but he wasn't able to serve his full sentence because he died of a heart attack. And Lao Pai is planning on going back with Skilling because Skilling, I believe he served 18 years or 28. Anyways, he served a lot, and they are going to create a new company, and hopefully that goes well. So, thank you very much for watching my business law PowerPoint.